You sit down to meditate, you close your eyes. You try to watch your thoughts, to observe your mind, the way everyone says you should. And for a moment, maybe it works. You see a thought pass. You notice a feeling arise. You're doing it, you think. You're finally becoming the observer. But then something shifts. A question surfaces, quiet but insistent. Who is watching? Who is this observer you've become? And if you look closely, really closely, you'll find something unsettling. The one trying to observe is itself a thought. The watcher is made of the same substance as what's being watched. You haven't stepped outside the mind. You've just created another layer within it. Another voice, another identity, calling itself the observer. This is the trap Ramana Maharshi spent his life pointing to, not because he wanted to discourage you, but because he saw clearly what most of us miss. The ego doesn't dissolve through observation. It disguises itself as the observer. Today, we're going to explore one of Ramana's most penetrating insights, drawn from his teachings on self-inquiry, not as philosophy, not as technique, but as a direct seeing into the nature of this I that claims to be watching. This isn't about becoming a better meditator or developing stronger awareness. This is about discovering what happens when you turn the light of attention toward the one who's trying to pay attention. Ramana Maharshi asks the question that unravels everything. Who am I? Not as a mantra, not as a practice to perfect, but as a genuine investigation. When you try to observe your mind, who is doing the observing? And more importantly, where does this observer come from? He says it plainly. The ego and the mind are one and the same. Read that again. The ego, this sense of I, this separate self, and the mind, with all its thoughts and movements, are not two different things. They're a single arising, a single movement, calling itself by different names. So, when you sit down to watch your thoughts, who sits down? When you become the observer, who becomes? The I thought, the ego, pretending to be something else, wearing the mask of awareness, calling itself the witness. This is why most spiritual practices feel like they're going in circles. The one trying to become free is the very thing that needs to be seen through. Think about it. Right now, as you hear these words, there's a sense of someone listening, someone understanding, someone taking this in. But if you pause and ask, who is listening? You won't find a solid entity. You'll find only another thought arising. The thought, I am the one listening. Ramana's invitation is not to become a better observer. It's to investigate the observer itself, to turn the inquiry back on the one who's inquiring. Because the I thought, this sense of me, is not the witness of your experience. It's the root of your experience, the source from which all other thoughts, all seeking, all suffering flows. He says, the I thought is the source of all other thoughts. First, the sense of I arises. Then come all the other thoughts. I am this. I want that. I fear this. I remember that. But without the initial I, none of it would be possible. No observer, no observed. No watcher, no watched. Just the pure functioning of awareness without anyone claiming to be aware. So, what does this look like in your actual life? You're in a difficult conversation. Someone says something that triggers you. Immediately, there's a reaction. Anger, defensiveness, hurt. And then, if you've been practicing, comes the spiritual move. You try to step back. You try to observe the anger without being consumed by it. I see you, anger. I'm watching you. But who is watching? Who is this I that sees the anger? If you look closely, you'll find it's just another thought, another movement of the same mind that produced the anger. The observer is not outside the storm. It's another wave claiming to be the ocean. Or late at night, thoughts racing, you remember what you've learned. Don't identify. Just observe. So you create a little distance. You say, I am not my thoughts. I am the awareness behind them. But who is saying this? Who is creating this distance? It's the ego trying to save itself by becoming spiritual. This is the deepest trap on the spiritual path. The ego doesn't fight awakening. It becomes the awakened one. It doesn't resist observation. It becomes the observer. And as long as there's someone observing, there's separation. As long as there's separation, there's suffering. Ramana's inquiry is radically different from what most people think of as self-observation. He's not asking you to develop a stronger witness. He's asking you to find the witness, to discover where this observer comes from, to trace it back to its source. And when you do, when you genuinely ask, who is observing, something remarkable happens. The question itself dissolves the questioner, because there's no one there to find. There's only the I thought, arising moment by moment, claiming to be the observer, claiming to be the doer, claiming to be you. Let's try this right now. Not as a technique, but as a simple seeing. Notice that there's awareness happening, thoughts arising, sensations present, sounds perhaps, the sense of being here, in this moment. This is undeniable. Now, ask yourself, who is aware of this? Don't answer quickly. Don't reach for spiritual concepts. Just look. Who is the one aware? You might say, I am. But who is this I? Can you find it? Is it located somewhere? In your head, your chest, your body? Or is it just a thought, the thought I, arising along with all the other thoughts? Stay with this. Who is asking who is aware? You see the circle, the I trying to find itself, the thought trying to observe thought, the mind trying to transcend the mind. And in that seeing, in that recognition of the circle, something falls away. Not through effort, not through a better technique, simply through seeing that there's no separate observer to find. Ramana says, you don't need to know what you are. You only need to know what you are not. You are not this body, not these thoughts. And that observer you've been cultivating, that's not you either. All you can truthfully say is, I am not this. I am not that. The moment you try to say, I am this, you've created a new identity, a new observer, a new prison for awareness. This is why Ramana's question, who am I, is not meant to give you an answer. It's meant to exhaust all answers, to burn through every identity, every observer, every self-concept, until what remains is simply the undeniable presence of being, without anyone claiming to be. The I am is certain. The I am this is not. So what happens to your spiritual practice when you see this? When you recognize that the observer is just another arising of ego, does everything fall apart? No. Something else emerges. Not observation in the usual sense, where there's someone observing something, but a natural seeing, a spontaneous awareness that's not divided between observer and observed. It's just seeing, just knowing, just being, without anyone there claiming to be the seer, the knower, the beers. This is what Ramana points to. Not a state you achieve through practice, not a witness you develop through meditation, but the dissolution of the entire structure of separation. When you genuinely investigate who is observing, the observer disappears. And what remains has no name, no form, no identity. It's been here all along, not hidden behind the mind, but appearing as everything you've been trying to observe. The thoughts, the feelings, the body, the world, all of it arising in and as awareness itself. Not your awareness, not anyone's awareness, just awareness, being, presence, without the I thought claiming ownership. Ramana's teaching is simple, but ruthlessly precise. Every time you notice yourself, trying to observe, trying to witness, trying to be aware, ask, who is trying? And in that question, lived genuinely, moment by moment, the whole structure of seeking collapses, because there's no one there to seek. There never was. The peace you've been trying to cultivate, the awareness you've been trying to develop, the freedom you've been trying to achieve, it's not at the end of a path. It's in the recognition that there's no one walking the path, no one trying to get somewhere, no one observing the journey. Just this, just now, just the bare fact of presence, without the story of someone being present. I'll leave you with a question, not for you to answer here, but to live with, to sit with, to dissolve into. Who is understanding these words right now? Can you find them? Or is there only understanding happening, with no separate observer claiming any of it? What if the observer you've been trying to become is just the final, most subtle form of the ego? What if true seeing has no one there to see? The inquiry doesn't end. It just stops being someone's inquiry. It becomes inquiry itself, questioning itself, until even the question falls silent. This is Ramana's gift, not a method to practice, but a mirror to look into, until you discover there's no one looking back, just the mirror, just the reflection, just this, exactly as it is. The observer you've been trying to become is the last whisper of separation, not someone observing, just observing, without the I claiming it. When you stop trying to watch the mind, something remains. Not silence you created, not peace you earned, just what's always been here, appearing as everything, belonging to no one. If this resonates, stay with us. We explore these pathways not to arrive somewhere, but to discover we were never lost, just confused about who was walking. Until next time, be still, not as someone being still, just stillness.